but somehow I just stay up.
Hey everybody, it's Tony Robbins. How are you? Seems like a crazy question to ask this day in the middle of COVID all over the world and most people still shut down. Listen, if I'm reaching out to you in the UK or this group I think will be Australia, I just want to say I know you're going through it. I know, for example, in Australia you can't go between states even. It's so crazy there. And yet, in the midst of all this challenge, there's always opportunity. You know, it's corny to say at this point, but the Chinese figure for crisis is, danger with opportunity. And either we can just sit and accept the way things are and be at home and just be frustrated or overwhelmed or stressed or down or whatever the feeling we might feel, or we can take back charge. And so my entire life has been focused on figuring out what people do who break through. What do people do that find a new way? What do people do when everything is against them and they turn it around? And I've had that experience myself. I have 54 companies myself. They're in a variety of industries, from AI to my resort in Fiji to the LAFC football club, the Major League Soccer club here in Los Angeles. And so I've got a variety of companies and they all have had different challenges. If you can imagine, if you've got a sports team that we built just 2 years ago, built a brand new stadium. We've been selling out 22,000 people a night, and all of a sudden the government comes in and says, no, you can't do business. And we got to pay for a stadium, we got to pay for our staff, we got to pay for our players, and we have no TV revenues, we have no sponsorship, no tickets to sell. So we've had to adapt. And so wherever you are in the world, we're going to have to adapt. And it's hard because in the beginning, even in my own case, I can remember, kind of going through the stages of like, if someone died, what's the first stage? Someone tells you somebody died, it's shock. What? They shut down the country. They're not letting people communicate. They're separating people from their parents who are elderly. I mean, what's going on? And then after shock, a lot of people go through anger. Like, this can't be. This is wrong. This is terrible. And then it goes often through sadness. And then sometimes it goes through the stage of, well, if this happens, we'll do this. It's almost like negotiating with God or with the world or in your own head. And then eventually what a lot of people do is they get there and they stay torn up either in the shock stage or the anger stage or the sadness, or some people get depressed. But the stage you got to get to at some point is acceptance. Not acceptance that it's right, not acceptance that you want to settle for this, but this is what is right now. And so now I got to figure out what to do with it. And most people who go through those stages, anytime they go through a massive shock or disappointment or a death, most people miss the last stage. It's not even written about. And that is, you got to start creating again. It's like, what are we going to do to create life on your terms again? And so that's been my focus. And I've been interviewing people and I've been living it myself, trying to figure out, how do I help people when they need it most, when most of my events, at least, are designed for 10 to 15,000 people. Most places won't let 10 people get together. But we did adapt. And the way we did it was by changing our mindset. And this is just my 2 cents for you, which may be all it's worth. I know it's a tough time, so you may not even want to hear it. But the greatest story of humanity is the comeback strategy. It's the comeback story. We all get knocked to our knees, right? COVID has taken everyone virtually to knees, unless you sell toilet paper or you work for Amazon or maybe you sell pizza. Most people don't have the winds at their back. The wind's been forward. It's been really rough and tough. But that's what makes the story really interesting, what makes it exciting. Who would go to a movie or read a book if the story started out with the main character is happy, they're healthy, they're vital, they're a beautiful family, they're financially abundant, they're spiritually sound, everything's going great. And then you get to the second part of the chapter of the movie or the book, and the person's still happy. Halfway through, they're wonderful. And at the end, they're still happy and wonderful and healthy and have great relationships. No one's even going to go. There's no drama. There's no interest. So life challenges us. But the exciting moment is the comeback. It's figuring out not just how to get back to where you were, but get back beyond where you were. And I've been fortunate enough to find tons of people I could learn from who've been doing that. And I've done it myself in our own businesses and our lives. And so it all comes down to understanding how to create a breakthrough. Because when you're stuck, when it feels overwhelming, when it feels like, we're in the middle of winter and there'll never be a summer again or a springtime, it's just not true. We all know that what follows the night is daytime. What follows spring, winter is spring, an opportunity. And so it's sometimes when things are going well, we think they're going to go well forever. And when they think they're going rough, we think they're going to be terrible forever. But that's not how the seasons of life work. So I thought I'd just send this out to you. I've my friends in Australia and the UK and in Asia. This is a little piece. I did a comeback challenge. We offered people like 7 days to work with me. And so I pulled one out for you. And this one here is really about a simple outline of how to get a breakthrough. A breakthrough is a moment in time when all of a sudden what's impossible becomes possible. You shift your emotion and maybe you get mad enough, or maybe you get excited enough, or you shift your belief, or you shift your strategy to a new way of doing things. And all of a sudden what was impossible becomes possible. And so I want to just contribute this little video to you. And then I'm coming to Australia, I'm coming to UK virtually, and I'm doing it coming up in a few weeks. So for those of you in Australia, I think it's less than 2 weeks away. And at the end, if you want, you can click somewhere. We'll tell you about the live event we're doing, because this is not that. This is just a set of fundamental principles, but I think you find them to be valuable. And if I never see you, I hope these 3 little triggers will be useful for you. But if you like to kind of jump in the deep end with me, you can literally do it even though if you're stuck at your home. We've been doing these events now virtually, not by some webinar or like this thing I'm showing you. I built a studio that literally has 40-foot high ceilings, 16 feet high by 50-foot wide retina screens like on your iPhone, 180 degrees around me, 180 degrees behind. And we've integrated 6 companies, including Zoom, to do something that's never been done before, where we had 30,000 people attend my live event from 138 countries. But I'm doing this one specially for Australia and especially for the UK, meaning in your time zone. When we did it here, we started at 10 in the morning for my Aussie friends. It was midnight when we started, and they finished 1 o'clock in the afternoon the next day. So it's a unique opportunity if you want to join us. But if you don't, I just want to add value to your life. I know we're all facing challenging times. And I think this brief little video here with its 3 components, they've been the shortcut for me to turn things around. I think it'll be helpful for you. And then I'll join you on the other end and tell you what the opportunity is if you're interested and if you're not. Thanks for your attention, and I hope you find great value in this. It's time for a breakthrough. It's time to not just settle, but take life back on your terms. If you're that kind of person, I think you'll enjoy this brief little talk. So enjoy. I'll see if this has been helpful for you. I mean, change your story, change your life. When the story is it's impossible and you start to believe that story, it is impossible. When the story is there's always a way and you keep pushing, you will find the way. And I know that sounds overly simplistic. And if you just watch this, you're okay, that's interesting. But that's why I do live events, because what we do is we all know, if you're pissed off, you're going to come up with different memories, different ways of looking at life than if you're feeling grateful, for example, or if you're feeling excited, or the example I gave of falling in love. When you're angry, you remember every damn thing they've ever done that pissed you off. When you're in love, they can do nothing wrong. You can do nothing wrong. Life is beautiful. So being able to change your state, not just in the moment, but to be able to do that long term is why I do live events, because we go for full immersion. Listen, if you ever studied a foreign language in high school and college, and then I ask people 10, 20 years later, how many of you still speak the language fluently? Almost nobody does, right? You don't use it. And the reason is you learned a little bit at a time. Immersion is the power. That's what I've done. That's why I've become a worldwide process of helping people to change and transform now for 43 years, is because I've created this process that's so immersive that it's like if you wanted to learn Italian and you had the money, you know what you'd do. You'd fly to Italy, go to Rome, you'd live there for 2 months, even without a teacher. At the end of that time, because of the immersion, you'd know it. You can read about swimming, you can watch a video about swimming, or you can go swimming. And if you go swimming and somebody knows what they're doing, the progress is gigantic. So that's why I still do live events, and I've been doing them for 43 years, and we've been changing people's lives throughout that time in more than 100 countries. The challenge now is how do you do this in this virtual world and not feel like it's grandpa's webinar, right? And so that's why I built the studio that you'll get experience of if you decide to come join us. Again, we had 138 countries, more than 30,000, almost 35,000 people who participated with us. And what was so cool was people that have been to my live events and love them. And if you go to my Instagram or you go to my any of my social media accounts and look at when we did the last live virtual event here, and you'll see tens of thousands of people saying it was the greatest experience of their life, and they're all individuals. If you check out with my friends there in Australia, I think they've got videos of people from Australia that did it. People have been to my live events, and I love this even more because it was so intimate. You were right there in my living room. And plus, I loved it because literally I can see 3,000 people at a time swap, see the next 3,000. You're literally big. I can call you by name. I can call on you and bring you straight up and interact with you in real time. When I'm in a stadium of 15,000 people, I can't do that. I'm walking around trying to go up the side of the stairs and be connected to you. But here it's a different world. And we're gonna have a blast. We don't do the firewalk as part of this, but we do wood breaking, karate style. Everybody, we send you a piece of wood, we walk you through it at the end. It's kind of like what's holding you back, and we're gonna break it through. So we really make it unbelievably fun. My whole mindset is you need the right education to break through. You need the insights, the skills, the strategies, but people need to be entertained first. And so I figured a way to make events so entertaining that, when you say, how long is a long time? Well, when you're not having a good time, A minute can feel like an eternity. When you're having the greatest time of your life, time flies. So I know how to create that experience for you, but then also give you the education, the tools, the strategies to change your body, your mind, your emotions, your relationships, your finances, your business. That's what we focus on over these 3.5 days and nights of immersion that we do. And then you build this set of muscles, this mental, emotional, and physical muscles that then will get you through those times. Because I found that 80% of success in life, really 80% is psychology, 20% is mechanics. Don't get me wrong, I'm a strategist. I know the right strategy could save you 10 years in your business. The right strategy could cause you to finally lose weight. The right strategy can turn around your marriage. The right strategy can transform the way you feel mentally and emotionally, perform in business. But you won't use the strategies I just showed you if you don't have the right state and story. And so that's really what we'll accomplish in this event. So if it interests you, I'd love to have you. We've never done things at these price points before too, so it's the easiest way. You don't have to fly across the country or across the world to participate and pay for an airplane and pay for a rent-a-car and pay for a hotel. So I hope you'll give it a shot here, and we'll have a chance in the middle of craziness and COVID for you to create the plan for your breakthrough, the plan for your comeback strategy so you can get to the place that you want to be, not just where you were, but better. I know that sounds like a big promise, but if you doubt me at all, go read all the comments that people have attended. And it's not because I'm so good, it's because we create an environment together with people from all over the world who will be playing. And I've never done this before. I'm going to do it on your time zone if you're in Australia or Asia, and I'm going to do one that's on the time zone here for the UK and Europe. So click below, and it'll tell you how you can participate and play, and I'd love to see you and serve you. I hope this little bit of insight for a moment just gets you to remember that, hey, I can break through. I just got to shift first my feelings, my state, my story, and then I can find the strategies that can change anything. Listen, no problem is permanent. Only our souls are permanent. You and I can take it to the next level. And if you give me the privilege to be your coach, I promise to over-deliver for you. So I'll look forward to hopefully seeing you then. Till then, live strong and live with passion. God bless.
They want